I'm here to talk to you about the new IMRG Passport program, which is a new innovation that I'm delighted to be able to introduce to you today. We know that there's a huge global market of some 7 billion people out there. Many of them like to buy British goods from British merchants, and we are delighted by that. We're very happy about that. We'd like to make it as easy as possible for as many people as possible to buy goods from British merchants, and we'd like to make it as easy for British merchants to sell profitably to that marketplace. And this is an area that IMRG has been working for many years, as many of you will know. There is a lot of information around available about the international marketplace. Most of it is pretty sketchy, shallow and unreliable. And a lot of the information is produced by people who are doing some marketing. They want to promote their brand or their service, so they put up an international global report. And we decided that this wasn't good enough, and IMRG needed to do something about it and do something much stronger, much deeper, much more useful to merchants. So we came up with the idea of a passport. We discussed this at length with the IMRG Senate and came up with the idea of a passport. So having come up with the idea, what the hell should this passport be? What should it contain? How should it work? We put a lot of time and effort, about a year's work has gone into this, and we wanted to create a tool that would be really useful to merchants trading cross-border. How to do this? Tricky, all territories are different. We decided that the sensible starting point would be to create a passport about the UK. After all, we know most about our own country, and if we worked out how to provide a toolkit for merchants in the rest of the world trading into the UK, that would then serve as a template for cross-border trading passports for other countries. So that's what we did. And today we're launching the first two, the UK and the Chinese passport. The Chinese, clearly, because it's the biggest market in the world, the Chinese buy more cross-border than any other country in the world, and Britain's doing pretty well at selling to China. So that was a natural starting point for us. What does it contain? It contains pretty well, we think, everything you need as a starting point for trading, but take your own view. The reports are available to download from our website. There are copies of them outside available from the IMRG desk. And if I can just flag Katie at the back there. Katie, give us a wave, because Katie's been in charge of this project and doing all the hard yards of pulling a massive information together, and really respect, Katie, respect. Good job, well done. But this is a starting point. The idea is that this will be a living thing. It will be a living document that will continually be developed, expanded, tuned, honed as we go forward. And also, this is just a start. The program that we're looking to develop is running forward. We've already identified the next passport that we'll be developing is for Russia, and one for France, Germany, United States, Brazil possibly as well. So this is meant to be the start of a whole program, and we're delighted that Norbert Dontersangel have sponsored the UK report and made this possible for us to develop this. Thank you. So, where are we going next with this? We have a pretty ambitious program, nine cross-border passports to be completed by the end of August next year, and we've got 20 territories that we aim to fill out with this program in 2016. We're not doing this on our own. We're working with the key players in each different country. Namo in Russia, the E-commerce Industry Association, Axel in France, the Brazilian Association, and so forth. So we're working with key partners on the ground to make these really useful things. They won't work on their own. We're building in a program of trade missions, and a cross-border section to the IMRG website. So it's a whole program of activity going forward. We need your input, we need your feedback, we need your comments, so please help us take this and make it a really useful tool for you. Which brings me neatly on to Atul, who's going to spend a few minutes talking to us about the Chinese market. Atul was part of our trade mission that we led to China earlier this year. Justin and I went over with a number of IMRG members. Atul, welcome.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, IMRG, for having such a wonderful event and giving me the opportunity to speak on China. Small introduction about One World. We've been trading in China for about 10 years now, and it's still not easy. So I don't see it getting easier, but what I want to do today is not share all the facts and figures. There's lots of data on China. Go online, lots and lots of data, great market, lots of business, e-commerce, booming in e-commerce, 600 million people online, incredible data. One thing that stands out, every $10 spent in Asia Pacific, $6 comes out of China. That's huge. China has overtaken the USA when it comes to e-commerce activity this year. They're the number one, and they'll continue leading the world when it comes to e-commerce. The Chinese love luxury goods, foreign brands. That's the opportunity. How does one position themselves into trading into such an incredible market? There are many factors that you'd have to look out for. People love shopping online. But what I want to focus on this slide is the last point here. Purchases from overseas online retailers have doubled annually in the last 3 years. As much as China's exporting to the world, they're also buying from the world. That's where the key opportunities are. And what are retailers doing to tap into this? That's the key. Previous speakers have talked about similar points. Local partners are very, very important. From my experience, I've been trying to do business with China over the last 10 years from the UK. It's not easy. I've been in China between 6 to 8 times a year, hustling different customers, trying to get business out of them. Again, not easy. We finally took a decision to set up our own office in China this year. Suddenly, it's easy. We have a local team, local customer service, local website. People can deal with time zones, Transcend, QQ, WeChat. These are things a lot of people have not heard about, but these are things that are very critical if you're looking at a business strategy of doing business with China. You could remotely start off by trading from the UK into China. You have to consider language problems. Most companies in China would have translators. You'd go and meet companies, you'd be sitting in boardrooms with 15 or 20 people, and you're sitting there with a translator. What's the strategy on language? Delivery channels. Have you considered delivery channel? Are you delivering from the UK? Would you hold stock in China? Would you hold stock somewhere else? Would you hold stock cleared customs? Or would it be in a bonded area? So there are many factors to take on board on how you'd enter China. How would you sell it? As one of the previous speakers said, most of the sales come through platforms in China. Tmall is the biggest. You have Jingdao.com, JD.com. This is where most of the traffic and e-commerce activity is taking place. Does your business have a strategy which would adapt the ways of entering these markets? Payments, Alipay, 10Pay, 99. Again, if you don't have these incorporated into your strategy, the chances are you're going to miss out on your sales. So these are critical things to look after. regulations. IP rights, very, very important. You have to protect your IP. The rules in China are simple. If they register an IP or a trademark or something before you, it's theirs. You have no right over it. So if you're planning on going to China, just make sure you protect yourself before you enter. Because if somebody else has registered it, you're going to pay a big premium to buy your own brand back from them. And really, you have no chance to stand in a court of law in China if that happens. So something to bear in mind. Logistics and warehouse. If the decision was taken to hold your stocks there, you need to have a good logistics partner in warehousing. Multi-channel delivery in China. China is so big, so you'd probably need a multi-delivery strategy in China as well. A company may be good in southern China and another company may be better in eastern China. So a multiple delivery strategy would also be something you'd bear in mind. Away from the facts, I'll share something that happened to me in my office. China is price driven. Everything is price. So I was sitting in a meeting with my team and they said, Atul, we love untracked mail because it's so cheap to deliver e-commerce. I'm like, great, we can give you cheap prices. And they said, but we want all the tracking in the world on this untracked mail. So how do you give tracking? So they said, we'll tell you how. And it was interesting how they think. So the culture and understanding what China expects, it's quite important. So they told me, if you have an untracked mail, you'll create your own tracking. Received in China, received in Hong Kong, departed from Hong Kong, received in London Heathrow, cleared customs, handed over to postal operator. And then they want me to work out what's the expected delivery time in line with the postal operator's delivery aims. And they still want me to give them a scan saying, your item is expected to be delivered between such and such date. So they expect all this for nothing. So what I'm trying to get to is, in line with other speakers who are saying, China looks at price. Different brands may want to put in different product ranges. Different parts of China react differently. The cultural differences across the country are huge. Southern China's buying habits may be different to east and north. So would you have different product ranges to take care of different demands? Being such a huge market, the previous speaker spoke about 11/11, Singles Day. So the data that we saw up there was for 2012. But in 2013, on 11/11, China did $5.75 billion in a single day. That's massive. That's the single biggest sale day in the world. And this year, they're expecting to do over $8 billion in a single day. Would you be prepared for such sales? Would you be prepared with the stock? Would you be prepared with the logistics and the delivery? Because once the sales happen, they expect delivery within 3 days. Are you prepared for these kind of challenges that the market will throw at you? If you enter this market correctly, I think the opportunity is massive, but it needs to be done correctly. Some of the points here which I won't go into, but I'm around all day if anybody wants to speak to me. And good luck. Look at China. It's a great market to go into. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Atul. That is great. It is a huge opportunity, and IMRG will do everything that we possibly can to help our merchants go and thrive there. And this report is available. Grab a copy, download it from the website, or grab a copy outside. As I mentioned, the next big market that we're going for is Russia. That's where we're targeting our next passport. And I'm delighted to welcome Igor here to spend a few minutes talking about the Russian market. Igor, where are you? Come on up here. Thank you. I was speaking at the main Russian e-commerce conference in April, and Igor was there, and he knows absolutely everybody worth knowing in Russia regarding e-commerce, and he's highly respected, and he's the international representative of Namo, the Russian e-commerce IMRG, if you like. Igor, welcome.
Okay. Hello? Yeah. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a really big pleasure for me to be here today and to share with you some experience about Russian e-commerce market. My task today is actually not only to show you a very nice picture about Russian e-commerce, but really try to show you the real face and the real potential of Russian market. Before to start, I have two small questions. Please raise a hand who was already in Russia. Okay, 5, maybe 10 people. Please raise a hand who already has some experience in e-commerce in Russia. Oh, even more. Okay, great. Good. It means that I hope that actually the slides which I will show you right now definitely should be very interesting for the most people here. Okay, welcome to Russia. The most people, if they really think about Russia, they think normally about 5 things: vodka, Kalashnikov, balalaika, bear, and nuclear weapons. But in real life, Russia is something different. Yes. We have in Russia 150 million consumers, and around 30-35 million consumers shop online. And really, Russian people have enough money. The average salary in Russia is around $800 per month. And really, the Russian consumer are really very eager to spend this money on the proper way for good products. And you have really good chance to provide these people good products and try to help them to spend this money. For better understand Russian e-commerce, you need to understand something more about history of distance selling in Russia. Have you ever heard that the Russian distance selling is more than 100 years old? 100 years ago, Russian distance selling market was the second biggest market in the world after US market. In Soviet time, for Soviet government, it was really very important to support distance selling because really huge country and a lot of villages, a lot of cities in Russia, it is possible to achieve only by using distance selling. And therefore, actually, Russian people always had positive attitude to distance selling. And the real boom of distance selling we got in the last 5 years when actually e-commerce started to grow very strong. And here we have, I would say, two main focuses. One is domestic market, and here are some big players. Some players are typical Russian players, some players are international players. Some biggest, for example, Otto, definitely you know, or Lamoda belong to the Landa group in Europe. And another part, actually, of distance selling, or of e-commerce, which we have today, it is cross-border. And cross-border became to be more and more important. Here we have two big players which really maybe dominate Russian market in cross-border. It is Alibaba Group and eBay. 70% of whole cross-border is done by these two players. But we have two quite interesting players from British market, ASOS and Next. Extremely successful. And what was quite interesting, a lot of these players who started to do business a few years ago by using cross-border, they already think about it in the next year to go to this market and start to do business directly in Russia. Here you can see some figures, and what is quite interesting, in this year we expect that more than 25% of the whole e-commerce in Russia will be done by using cross-border. And you can see eBay and AliExpress, or it is Alibaba, they started to do business only 2 years ago, and already today they have 70% of whole cross-border market. And really, cross-border is growing 50-60% every year. Domestic market maybe only 20-25%. If you compare Russian market and British or UK market, you can see we have in Russia one small problem. Namely, we have extremely low sales per capita. It is 20 times less than in UK. On one hand, yes, we have good potential, but on the other hand, really, you should to consider it that in Russia, you need to use other tools than you're using here in UK. If you will compare main players, Russia and UK, in C2C e-commerce, we have Avito, which is a typical Russian company. In UK, definitely number one is eBay. By B2C e-commerce, we have eBay in cross-border, number one, based on turnover, or it was number one. Right now it will be Alibaba. Auto, the biggest one by combination of catalog and e-commerce, and Yulma, that is the biggest e-commerce player by selling electronics. In social network, we have two big players, Odnoklassniki and Kontakte. And by search engines, number one, it is definitely Yandex. It is 60% market share, and Yandex dominates today the whole market. Also, it's quite interesting, online payment. We have on one hand the same like in UK, credit cards, but we have a typical Russian invention. It is Kiwi. And Kiwi is very great and very crazy system. On one hand, it is PayPal, similar like PayPal. They have more or less 15 million online accounts, but on another hand, they have the network of 150,000 cash-in machines or kiosks where people actually can pay money inside, and after this, by using touch screen, transfer this money to different accounts or to pay any online orders or to pay any bills and so on. It is really a combination of offline and online. It is really a very great system in Russia. Here you can see 5 biggest players which we have in Russia based on number of orders and based on based on sales. And what you can see is that really Russian market is very fragmented market. We have in average all these big players have 3, 4, maximum 5% market share. We don't have any one player which actually has really 20% market share. And what is very important for all these players, every player have any advantages why actually they are so extremely successful. For example, AliExpress, Alibaba, has very low price. It is maybe the main advantage which actually this China company has. eBay has very wide assortment. Auto actually has great service and wide assortment. And what is important for you as well, there are 3 main advantages which really a lot of Russian companies try to make focus: low price, wide assortment, and good service. If you compare all pro and contras about go to Russia, you need to think about huge market. And as I mentioned, 143 million consumers, 30 million already shopped online, high income and growing income. Okay. And what is definitely very important, cross-border. In Russia, we have very high threshold for duty and VAT free, 1,000 euros. It is the highest number in the world. And therefore, based on this situation, a lot of Russian people prefer to buy something in other countries because they don't need to pay something. But on the other hand, we have really a lot of problems, and definitely you already have heard a lot of these problems. Number one, definitely it is delivery. Very bad quality, very bad quality of Russian Post and some other alternative providers which we have. On the other hand, very high price for delivery. Definitely it is very important for e-commerce, but we have this situation. High price for acquisition of clients, you should take it into consideration as well. And unfortunately, Russian clients are not so loyal, and really it will be very difficult to keep these clients if you will get ones. Yandex, as I mentioned, it is the biggest search engine in Russia, and last year they made a very nice market research, and what they have realized the biggest criterion for people to buy something online is the price. And it is clear because on one hand we have a lot of proposals from China, and on the other hand we have a lot of proposals from Europe, and if people can save VAT, they can save any customs duty, definitely the price for orders will be much cheaper, and therefore it is one of criteria. The second one, it is wide assortment, which is people can get if they shop online cross-border. Therefore, cross-border definitely it is the best, I would say, advantage which we can have today in Russia. And therefore, a lot of players have realized it, that really, on one hand, it is very easy to go to Russia by using cross-border. On the other hand, they can save a lot of money and really they don't have any risk. Therefore, cross-border really is growing by 60–70% per year and will continue to grow. And for example, right now, Russian government discuss about it to reduce threshold from 1,000 euro till 150 euros. But this discussion is already for 1 year, and still we have 1,000 euro. And if it will reduce to 150 euros, it is not a big problem for cross-border because average order is around 50 euro. Okay, thank you very much.